Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Vinyl Fetish, kind of a double episode. There were two great releases that came out today. One was some rare recordings by John Coltrane, but the other is the 50th anniversary release of the Beatles' Abbey Road. This is a big deal. We've been celebrating a lot of 50th anniversaries in 1969 to 2019. First Sesame Street, Landing on the Moon, Woodstock. Beatles' Abbey Road came out 50 years ago today. And I wanted to show you first, before I unbox the new one, this is my first copy of Abbey Road that I got when I was 13 years old in 1977. This is on the Capitol label, which is the version that you got in the United States in the 1970s. I've had many versions since, including picture disc versions and half-speed master version and the 2009 remaster version. But this is the new version. Here it is, Abbey Road, 50th anniversary. Look how thick that is. This is the 40 set, or various permutations, I think, of this one, including out on vinyl. This is the CD version, and it has 4 CDs, including the 2019 6 by Giles Martin, George Martin's son, of course, who did Love and all the other remixes, a Blu-ray version, and then 2 discs of outtakes from the studio, including the songs you know and love, as well as things like Come and Get It, the song that they gave Badfinger. So I thought we'd take a look at this. I got it today at Music Millennium, and on sale for a low price of $102.99. $102.99. So let's open it up, shall we? I've been really excited. I put a little money aside to get this when it came out. And let's see what it looks like inside. These 50th anniversary editions have been really nice. I really like the White Album one, I think even better than the Sgt. Pepper one, because of all the cool pictures and the books. Alright, let's see if I can open this up without destroying it. Some people will get mad at me for using my fingernail, but that's how we do it. Alright, so we'll take the shrink wrap off. It's got a nice little sticker on here. It says Anniversary Edition, new mix by Giles Martin and Sam O'Kell. There we go. Here goes the shrink wrap. It's a nice, nice reproduction of the original cover and back cover, and then it slides out. Look at this. This is cool. Okay. Look at this. All right. Kind of like a cool book. Oh, I see. Oh, here we go. This is very similar to the White Album one, but it's just a different sort of layout. So the book opens, and then you have the first 2 discs. And we have some amazing pictures. There's Abbey Road. I've walked across Abbey Road many times. When I went to school in London, I used to sit across from Abbey Road Studios when Pink Floyd was recording the final cut, and just watch people walk across the street. Last time I was in London with Andy, when I was there with her, she walked across the street and almost got hit by a car. But she's walked across Abbey Road as well. So a nice book. Introduction by Giles Martin. Let's see if it has a table of contents. Forward by Paul McCartney, just like in the White Album version and the Pepper version. I hope Ringo has his voice in there. Some great pictures. There weren't a lot of pictures. Most of them were taken by Linda McCartney of the band when they were in the studio. Look at John, looking very Jesus-like. That's a really cool picture. I've never seen that one of John Lennon. And George is looking a little haggard. George always looked older than his age, even though he was the baby of the band. And then in the back of it, you have some, the book continues about Abbey Road and the studios. Some great pictures, many of them that you've probably seen before, like that one with the lady saying hello to the band as they're about to cross the street. Them walking back across the street with a double-decker bus about to get hit, and then the last 2 discs. So that's the package. Okay, that's the package. I'm going to give it a listen. I'm going to give it 24 hours to sink in, to talk about the new mixes and the outtakes, and to let you know how it feels. So I will be back shortly with the verdict on the Beatles' Abbey Road 50th Anniversary Edition. All right, come together. All right, well, I've had a day to spend with the 50th Anniversary Abbey Road box set, so I want to give you some impressions on it. I love it. Of course, how can you not love something as momentous as this? Let me talk first a little bit about the packaging. it's a really great, I mean, you know, I think from this era, almost every single picture that was taken of the Beatles was taken by Linda McCartney. So many of these were known, but lots of ones not known. Look at this great picture of this street crossing that we love so much. The bulk of the book, I stayed up last night reading it, is sort of a detailed description of the process of each song, where it came from, the evolution. And this was the first time the Beatles were recording on 8-track. So it kind of gets into the weeds about, you know, what was on the first track. The drums were on this track, and the bass was on this track, and piccolo was on this track. And so it gets a little boring. You just kind of want the juicy stories behind the songs. But it's kind of all there. If you want the evolution of Octopus's Garden, you've got it. So the story really kind of takes us from the end of the White Album through the Let It Be session. So a lot of this stuff may be a preview of what they're going to give us next year for the 50th anniversary of Let It Be. But it's definitely a compelling read, if a little bit wonky. I just started falling asleep during part of it. The two discs that are on the front of the book are the Blu-ray and the new Giles Martin mix, and the two discs that are in the back of the book are the outtakes of the studio. And I didn't notice, but this is really cool. On the ones that are the studio outtakes, they are sort of alternative covers of the Beatles walking the other way. That one and that one with the bus, the double-deck busser, and then the image on the back is sort of after that person has walked by the street sign, which I've walked by many times in St. John's Wood. And so that was a cool little thing. I didn't notice it when I first unboxed it. So the package is super nice. I mean, it's just really nice. Something that you'll want to share, and keep on your table to show all your friends. But let me talk about sort of the content. First of all, the Blu-ray. I don't have a Blu-ray player. I feel a little kind of annoyed that I have to buy a Blu-ray version of this. But it's just part of the package of these days, so I just sort of accept it, and someday I'll have a way to listen to the Blu-ray. The 2019 Giles Martin mix is not quite as dramatic as the White Album. The White Album, you hear all kinds of stuff you didn't hear before. He pulls all sort of stuff out. I mean, as he says in the text, the Abbey Road is already sort of perfect. You can't really do a lot with it. It's clear he loves Paul McCartney's bass, because Paul's bass is always much more upfront. Everything is much crisper. The drums are much clearer, but Paul's bass is really clear. And I think the one thing, and I'm going to give it a headphone listen, but just sort of on the first couple playthroughs, the really standout track is I Want You. The way that John's voice sounds like he's in the room with you. Like I have played that song a zillion times in my life, and I've never quite heard it like that. Like, it was so clear, like he was just right there with you. And so it's amazing that I can go back and get these, you know, these analog tapes from 50 years and clean them up so nicely. So that's nice to have. I mean, it's just sort of, you know, what a great album to have a real clear version of, versus the scratchy version that I played for many years. The 2 disc of extras are much better than I thought. I thought I'd heard everything from the Abbey Road sessions, the stuff that showed up on the anthology collection, the stuff that's popped up on some bootlegs. I thought I'd heard it all. Nope. No, there is some amazing, amazing stuff. And of course, the great stuff is listening to them talk, the little chatter before the song starts. And you really get the feeling, despite the gloomy nature of the Let It Be sessions, that they were really having a lot of fun. There was a lot of bonhomie, a lot of brotherhood. John Lennon's like, let's do it, boys. And he's, you know, getting the guys together as friends, are reminiscing. And there's a great moment where there's an outstanding outtake of Golden Slumbers, where Paul starts playing it, and then he goes into Fool on the Hill from 2 years earlier from Magical Mystery Tour, recognizing that he was sort of ripping himself off. And it was just one of those aha moments where, like, Paul is just like, oh yeah, I'm doing a version of this at the piano that I did 2 years ago. And, you know, hearing Ringo kind of mess up the vocals on Octopus's Garden and trying to sing and, you know, stay in the song at the same time. There's just so many little tidbits here, besides the things you expect, like Come and Get It and the Goodbye, the song Paul gave to Mary Hopkins, and like that stuff you kind of expect to be there. But the original edit of the end suite is there with Her Majesty in the middle of it, in between Paul and Pam, and she came in through the bathroom window. I mean, so it's great to hear that version. And there's just so much good stuff. It's so fun to listen to that stuff. And there's a double disc version, which is the 2019, and some of the outtakes on another disc. It's really worth getting this larger box to get all the outtakes, because there's just, it's, you're like there with them in the last moments that they're together as a band. They're having a great time making this music, really working hard with George Martin. There's a little bit of joshing with George Martin in it. And of course there is now the story that came out that, you know, the popular lore is they knew they were making a last album, so they were going to make a great last album as their great parting shot at the musical world. But the story that's come out now is that there was a meeting 50 years ago when this came out where they got together to talk about the follow-up album to Abbey Road, and that there would be 4 John songs and 4 Paul songs and 4 George songs and 2 Ringo songs if he wanted them. So it changes the whole imagination about, you know, what were they doing this because they wanted to go out on a high note, or was there an idea that there would be another album that would come out in 1970 that would be the great Beatles album to follow up Abbey Road? I guess we'll never know. We should ask Paul or Ringo what they think about that. But this is really worth it. It's a great disc. It's a great 4-disc set. Book is great. The sound is great. Giles Martin did a wonderful job. I hope he has the same luck with the Let It Be that we get, you know, in 2020. Yeah, really good. Really, really fun to spend some time in the studio in Abbey Road, in St. John's Wood, in London, and W8 with the Beatles while they're making this masterpiece that sounds as amazing as it did 50 years ago, now for a whole new generation. So that's it. Loved it. Hope you like it too. Let me know what you think. Comment if you've got it. Please add your comments below. Like, subscribe. We'll be back with Andy to talk about some more great music on vinyl. And thank you, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, for giving us this one last great album. It is just always a pleasure to dive into that music that you made. Peace.